All right, internet land. Welcome to another video here on my YouTube channel. Today's video is about this little girl named Dulce Maria Alavez, and why is she linked to Bill Gates? That is the question. Shout out to Christopher Sparks. He put out this article a few days ago that caught my attention. I wasn't able to find the actual article again, but I have screenshots of it. Not sure if they're in the correct order. Bear with me. But I'm gonna go ahead and get into the meat and potatoes of this video. Shoot out some prayers to the family of this little girl. Hope that she is found soon. Be sure to like this video, share it, comment with your thoughts, and subscribe to my channel. Be sure to hit that bell like that you're notified every time I upload. And you know what I'm saying, I try to be consistent with putting out information about internet marketing and things that go on the everyday life in this world. So with that said, I'm gonna go ahead and get into the meat and potatoes of this video. Why does Dulce Maria Alavez link back to Bill Gates? Again, shout out to Mr. Christopher Sparks. He wrote this article, and he goes on to say that this post will be the first and hopefully the last before this young little girl was found. But as he is a internet hobbyist and amateur penetration tester. He's a penetration tester. Okay, I have to look into that. I wonder what that is. But yeah, goes on to say, as a hobbyist and amateur penetration tester, he used his skill set to find out as much information about this case as possible. A little girl from Bristol, New Jersey has been kidnapped, and her whereabouts have gone unknown for over 5 days now. Her mother is been pleading for help through all kinds of different media outlets, and has been praised by some and condemned by others, by many others. The case has garnered millions of different likes, shares, and opinions. All eyes are in the Bristol area in South Jersey as this case continues to unfold. But as the police are keeping a lid on this investigation, we are all left to only wonder what happened to little Dulce Maria Alavez. Instead of rehashing the details of the case, which you can see for yourself by Googling it, he says he's going to lay out his finding and the reason as to why he is so confused and why so many others are confused about this case. He goes on to say a restaurant named Tortilleria El Paisano, which is located in Bristol, New Jersey at 861 North Pearl Street. While the restaurant itself does not have a website, its entry in the yellow pages can be found by Googling it and going to the Yellow Pages website. The English translation of El Paisano is the countryman. While Googling the name of the restaurant, he found a similarly named restaurant located just a couple blocks away from at 305 North Pearl Street in Bristol, New Jersey. But this establishment is called El Paisano Grocery Store, and the translation of El Paisano Grocery Store is the Countryman Grocery Store. 1 second, real quick. My eyes are drying out. Yeah, the Countryman Grocery Store. That's the translation. But yeah. So, he goes on to say, these two are similarly named out of some coincidence or they are somehow connected. While the donating restaurant, Tortilleria El Paisano, doesn't have a site or social media, the grocery store does, which can be seen by Googling it. And the page only has 35 people who's liked it. I'm guessing it's a Facebook page. The store, who's like the Facebook page store, I guess, yeah. So sifting through this information was rather easy because there was only 35 people on that page. What initially caught his eyes, caught his attention was the fact that there was a young girl posted on the front of the page. He goes on to say that's the picture that he found. And he goes on to say, to me, or to him, this is a little odd to have such a young girl posing like this, but maybe it's something part of Spanish culture that he doesn't understand, meaning they teach the importance of being a woman earlier than us Americans, or they like to document the growth of their children in semi-scandalous poses. Totally plausible. So he continued. Quick disclaimer. As far as the Spanish people, I'm Puerto Rican, and you know what I'm saying, we don't get down like that. So maybe it's a cultural thing with Mexicans or other Spanish cultures, but as far as Puerto Ricans, we don't get down like that. All right. So he goes on to say, so my next move was to click on the list of people who like El Paisano's grocery store, and the first name of the list seemed kind of fishy to him. It was Mariposa Flaquita, Lizette Philippe. He goes on to say that he clicked on the account and found an eerie picture on the wall. Which there goes the picture. That's the picture that he said was eerie. So he goes on to say this profile hasn't been updated since 2012 and hosts a picture of a young girl given the symbol, which means she has some type of secret. Another interesting twist in the rabbit hole, for sure, he says. My next step was to search for a translation of the term flaquita, and he found the definition flaquita on Urban Dictionary. He says that he gives Urban Dictionary more credibility than other sites when dealing with issues that are impartial. And he goes on to say that they said that it means skinny girl, which is another odd development. But once again, this could be a cultural thing and not an FBI pedophile thing. The first part of the term mariposa flaquita is butterfly, according to multiple sources. So, altogether, the name mariposa flaquita is the skinny butterfly, which it is. He goes on to say, what is Bill Gates doing here? Then he says next, he did a reverse image search of the term mariposita flaquita. The first few pictures that came back were little toy butterflies, which is a symbol of pedophile networks. So he kept scrolling and continued to scroll down. To his surprise, he found multiple images of young girls. And another insane thing was that on the top of the site, there was bubbles of linked phrases that show other common terms associated with the original search term. And the first one that appeared was Bill Gates. Interesting. Some of the pictures. He goes on to say that lots of these photos show linked Twitter accounts, which he sifted through. But he also found a site that popped up called skyrock.com. The site seemed to be some sort of pimping platform that allows pimps to post their girls to show the world. Good golly mother. Huh. So he goes on to say, hacking. After clicking on two of the profile pages, he immediately exited the site and began to seek more information about the domains. So he fired up his pen testing box and got to scanning. The first thing he did is a whois search. Now, the domain's results are redacted in a privacy effort, which you can see on the image there. But if you ping the website, you can get an IP address in return, and then do a whois search on the IP address. Then you'll get back answers, he says. He says that the site was registered to an owner in France called Telephone. So he says the next thing he did was start a scan on the site with a tool that he has that is the NMAP. So he says the first thing that he did was to use a script scan while scanning for all the open TCP ports and the common. And he says that you can check it out there on his website. And he says that output only showed port 80 and 443 open, which is no big surprise for any websites. I guess that's some technical talk there that I have no clue about. So he goes on to say the next thing that he did was to do a UPD port scan just to cover all his bases. And this scan actually showed more interesting results than the TCP port scan. The UDP scan also showed port 80 as open, which is definitely different. So once again, he Googled port 80 UDP and found this post claiming that if a server responds with an open port on UDP, 4/80, that is most likely already infected with some sort of malware. Again, technical, don't have no clue what he's talking about. So he goes on to say that this is where he stopped, and that his thinking was that some other type of government entity from Paris is already monitoring the site. But why Bill Gates linked with Mariposa Flaca in the image search results? Why? And why do only young girls show up? And why is it linked to a grocery store with the same name as the store that donated that $5,000 to the search efforts of finding Dulce? There are some good questions. He goes on to say that another twist down this rabbit hole was that Bill Gates came out with a documentary on Netflix within hours of him putting out this information. And then he goes on to say that this is all probably a really big coincidence, but he is not sure if so many easily connectable dots can be ignored, or maybe they can, and he's painting a picture in the static. He says that he's not really sure. He says that if Bill Gates, he said, if it's Bill Gates, you might find him dead soon, seeing how he's a pedophile. What did he say? He said, let me read it verbatim. He said, if it's Bill Gates, you might see me dead soon, seeing how he's a pedophile wrapped up in a child exploitation ring that spans the globe. But more than likely, it's just some sort of coincidence, and Bill Gates is just a rich guy trying to change the world for the better. For your sake, my sake too, for putting this video out. I hope that you're right. And he goes on to say, but to note, I have never tried and never will try. He says he never tried and never will try any form of heroin, fentanyl, carfentanil, opioid, Xanax, barbiturates, or sedatives. He says that he does drink, sometimes heavily, but he absolutely knows his limits. He says he never gets in altercations with strangers, and that he's able to win the hearts and minds of all the people that meet him. So I guess he's in good shape then. He said this is probably overkill, but he just wanted to clear things up. Alright, my eyes are burning. But yeah, so he goes on to say what he did next was to notify the authorities through the online tip portal offered by Cumberland County Prosecutor's Office. Hours after submitting the information, Google altered their search engine results for Mariposa Flaquita and no longer shows Bill Gates as the #1 associated term. But still, if you Google Mariposita Flaquita, Bill Gates, the same photos appear. Interesting. All right. He goes on to say, this leads me to believe that there was either a mistake on Google's part, or there's some fascination with Bill Gates among young Latina women. Either way, he said he sat on this information for 24 hours before he submitted it in 36 and have not heard a response. Okay, I guess when he reported it. He goes on to say, I didn't want to release the info because he didn't want to distract from the main investigation into finding this child, but he also wanted this investigation to end with a positive outcome. And he says that while Cumberland County does find killers, they also take a really long time. He says that this is also a child we're speaking about, so seconds count, and that is so true in this situation. He says that his worst fear is being framed for something like this because he's seeing how pedophiles get treated in jail, and that he do pretty much everything in his power to avoid suffering from his fear. So when a story like this happens so close to home, he takes a personal interest in it. He says that he wants to assure that the right people or person is brought to justice. That was some good article there. I wish I would have been able to get a hold of the actual article, but I'm blessed to was able to get them screenshots because I looked for the article and I couldn't find it. I mean, it shows up, but like when you click on it, it goes straight to dude's website, like not the article. But anyway, with that said, man, pray for the family of Dulce Maria Alavez. Pray for her safe return home. If you're any good at doing research, man, covering stories like this and doing all the research that it takes to put out stories like this, you know what I'm saying, do so. You know what I'm saying? This story is not reported like everywhere. It's like nationwide. And it's crazy. You know what I'm saying? Crazy. I don't want to say because it's a Mexican little girl, they're not looking for her or whatever. But anyway, but we can do, you know what I'm saying, whatever we can to help out the situation. That said, once again, shout out to Mr. Christopher Sparks for putting out that article. Thank you for taking the time to watching this video. Be sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the bell that you know when I upload, that gives you the notifications. Subscribe to my newsletter, like that you could get all the free stuff that I send out to my email subscribers, and other good information as well. Comment, let me know what you think about the situation. And with that said, hey, catch y'all on the next one. Peace. Your boy Moises Beauchamp out.